Okay, so for those of you who complain when I talk about the whole movie, I think I should tell you that I'm going to talk about the whole movie. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give my thoughts on the movie first. We're going to take a break. Then there's going to be a big spoiler section. And then there's going to be a break. And then we'll do the trailers, okay? You know what my breaks are. They're the commercial bits. So it should be easy to piece out where everything is going to be located. Okay? Okay. So overall, I'm going to give Captain Marvel an A. I think it's a really good, solid. I don't think it was quite at like Black Panther level as in terms of like a cultural happening type feel to it, but it was still really good. I think it tapped a lot of the same veins that Wonder Woman did when Warner Bros. Released that. Surprisingly, introspective movie for the most part. The action scenes are followed by a lot of really good, quiet character developing moments. Brie Larson is very solid in the role. Obviously, Samuel L. Jackson is Samuel L. Jackson. Larson and Jackson have some good chemistry together. I'd say the real scene-stealing term, though, is Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. He's the leader of the Skrulls. And overall, very, very enjoyable film. So, yes, you have that to look forward to. So, again, once now, we're going to take the break, and then I'm going to get into deep spoilers, so you have been warned.
If you're looking for adventure this summer, escape with Marvel Comics. Fight crime with Spider-Man, meet the Fantastic Four, and watch Captain America in action. May the Force be with you as you battle the evil empire in Star Wars. Discover the secrets of the South American jungle in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And with Marvel Comics, you're never alone because they can go with you in the car or to the park, even on a rainy day. Marvel Comics are your ticket to fun and adventure this summer.
Okay, so in Captain Marvel, obviously Brie Larson is Carol Danvers, or that's the character's Earthling name. When she's on the Kree homeworld, she's called Veers because when they found her, her dog tag had been snapped in half, and so it just said like Carol. It was missing the Carol D-A and or D-A-N, and just said V-E-R-S. So they just said her name was Veers. And she's being raised believing that she's a Kree and that she has no memories of her past. And she lives on the Kree homeworld of Hala, and she's trained by Jan Rog, that's Jude Law's character, into trying to be a good soldier. And there's actually a point where she's brought before the Supreme Intelligence, and the Supreme Intelligence, if you are familiar with the Marvel Comics, it is this giant collective of all the greatest minds of the Kree, and it's this giant tub of goo with a face. So, yeah. It does not. You don't see that. It basically takes the form of a person that you believe to be most important in your life, and what she sees is Annette Bening, but she doesn't recognize Annette Bening in any way, shape, or form. And Carol's been plagued by dreams recently, but they feel that she's ready to go out on a mission, and it's to rescue a Kree scientist or a Kree spy from the Skrulls who are waging war against the Kree. Carol winds up getting taken hostage by the Skrulls, who wind up unlocking several memories inside her as they are trying to find this engine developed by a Dr. Lawson, that's Annette Bening's character. And they're finding this light, like I said, this engine at light speed, and Lawson is from Earth, and so through some shenanigans, Carol winds up getting stranded on Earth, where she winds up meeting up with Nick Fury and drawing the attention of S.H.I.E.L.D. But the Skrulls managed to infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D. And from then it's piecing together Carol's past, her abilities, and also trying to get back in touch with the Kree homeworld, but there's going to be some twists along the way. Okay, so obviously if you're familiar with the trailer, the cat that's a prominent role in it, or a Flurkle, is Goose, and that's Lawson's cat. Except it turns out that Lawson's actual name was Mar-Vell. That's the original Marvel, Captain Marvel. We don't need to get into that shebang right now, okay? The Marvel Comics Captain Marvel was a Kree scientist named Mar-Vell who came to Earth and all of that. And like I said, Lawson was developing this light-speed engine. Eventually they tracked down not Monica Rambeau, who was another later Captain Marvel. Again, we don't need to get too far into that. Monica is actually the daughter of Maria Rambeau, who was codenamed Photon, which is also another name that Monica Rambeau adopts. Yeah, this gets confusing, I know. Uh, anyway, as you know, they're piecing together Carol's past. It's discovered the truth because as the Skrulls have infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D., they come into possession from a black box from the crash test of this Lightspeed engine, and it turns out that no, the Skrulls are actually the good guys. The Kree are the ones who are waging war against the Skrulls. The Skrulls are trying. They conquered the Skrulls' homeworld. The Skrulls are just trying to flee and find places. And it turns out Marvel was also hiding Kree refugees, including the family of Talos. That's the lead Skrull, played by Ben Mendelsohn. And I'll talk about the cat. Don't worry. The Skrulls are intensely afraid of Marvel's cat, or Flurkle as they call it, and the Flurkle is basically an alien creature that just turns into this giant tentacle monster that swallows things. And basically, the Kree found out that Lawson was aiding the Skrulls and I keep saying Lawson, Marvel was aiding the Skrulls and sent someone to attack her. Carol Conway wound up getting caught into all of this, and she destroyed the engine, and that bathed her in the energy from the engine, and they gave her a blood transfusion, which turned her into a Kree-human hybrid. And from that, you start to see everything pieced together, basically. She starts helping the Skrulls, because, again, the Skrulls are actually very peaceful, and they're just trying to find a home world away from the Kree. And a Lightspeed engine would help them. But it also turns out that a lot of the basis for the Lightspeed engine is the Tesseract, or I believe it's the Power Stone of the Infinity Stones. I may be wrong on that. Yes, that's the stone. Yeah, it's obviously the Tesseract from the Avengers and Thor and everything in there. And also, like I said, they discovered the refugees that have been hiding out in this cloaked orbital laboratory for 16 years. And the accusers come, the Kree accusers, Ronan, Yanlog, and all of them come, and Carol has to fight them off. And as she's now more fully tapped into her memories and able to fully tap into her powers, she defeats all of them. Though, again, the Kree are now interested in having her as a weapon. And she sends Yanlog back with a message to the Kree homeworld saying, "I am coming, and you're not going to stop me." So, yeah, that's kind of the big thing. She makes peace with, she says her goodbyes to everyone. She leaves the Tesseract is actually eaten by the cat, who also scratches Fury's eye, where that's where the damage came. That's where the damage. There's two parts to the damage. At one point, there's just early on, the Skrulls are still enemies. One of them is masquerading as Phil Coulson and causes Fury to crash his car, and he gets a big scar over one part of it. And then later, the Furkle, or cat, scratches it. But the cat has actually fed like I said, it turns into this giant tentacle monster that can eat anything, and the cat eats the Tesseract. And then I'll get to the post-credit scene when we get to because Anyway, she says her goodbyes, and then the credits roll. We get the mid-credit scene, which is the Avengers have the pager, it's the upgraded pager that Nick Fury had at the end of the upgraded two-way pager that Nick Fury had at the end of Infinity War, and they said it was important, and Widow knows that it's important to Fury. And the pager actually turns off because it's had that symbol on there. And then, right as it turns off, Carol arrives and says, "Where's Fury?" And then it says, "Captain Marvel will return in Avengers Endgame," which is about a month and a half away. So we get to look forward to that. And then the other credits scene, we go back to 1995, which is where Captain Marvel takes place, and the cat coughs up the Tesseract, and that's it. Yes, a scene I'm all too familiar with, sadly. Anyway, if I'd say there really are any downsides to this, it's just really kind of nitpicky things. Like, the music overall is great, except that the funny thing is at one point, Carol is interacting with the Kree intelligence, and she is playing a record of Come As You Are by Nirvana, but Carol disappeared in 1989, and she returns in 1995, so she wouldn't be familiar with Come As You Are by Nirvana, unless she had somehow heard it, and at no point earlier in the film had it played. So, a little bit of a goof there, but overall, like I said, really, this film is enjoyable. Don't let the idiots out there turn you away from this. Do go see Captain Marvel.
Would that be my spider sense returning?
What's that? He's back.
Way to go. Don't let those overgrown tin men keep you down.
What?
Just too many of the big guys for you, buddy.
What? Hold on tight.
Can Spidey handle the Sentinel's blast?
Shut.
Whoa.
Grab a copy of this month's Spider-Man. Marvel Comics, it's mayhem for your mind.
Okay, trailer time, and yeah, we've got a lot of trailers here. This is another one where they put 10 trailers before the movie for some reason. Anyway, we got a few new ones at least. So at least, like I said, we got that kind of going for it here. First up is Long Shot. That's Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron in a romantic comedy. Charlize Theron is a Secretary of State with aspirations of becoming president. And Seth Rogen is a speechwriter who used to be a child that Charlize Theron's character babysat, and it's kind of this romantic comedy, and how they connect on different levels than ordinary people, and he tries to show her kind of the regular Joe concept of life a little bit. After that, we had Hobbs and Shaw. That's the Fast and the Furious spin-off movie with The Rock and Jason Statham's characters. Dark Phoenix again. We then had Rocket Man. That's the Elton John biopic. We had The Hustle again. That's the Anne Hathaway, Rainn Wilson remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Spider-Man Far From Home again. Detective Pikachu again. We then had Frozen 2. And rounding things off, that was Dumbo. So yeah, anyway, so I'm sure you probably have also noticed the kind of wonky looking thumbnail. It turns out, or I don't know if this is a recent thing or if something else has happened, but yeah, YouTube can now copyright claim you on your thumbnails if you're not careful. And yeah, like I said, I don't know how careful I've been. Like, even the collages could maybe be borderline, so yeah, you're going to have to deal with the picture of me and that and the cats. The first movie ones are going to look kind of wonky. I began to kind of get into a groove with around Dumbo, so that's how that looked. But you're going to also see it in the comic reviews and the wrestling reviews as well. Just trying to play safe. Unfortunately, I am also dealing with a copyright strike because of a review of a Japanese comic that I did, and that's why that review is missing if you look for it. I'm not going to say what it was because I don't really want to run afoul of them anymore. I'll try to get an amended version of that up. Anyway, next video after this is going to be the random trade review on Superman Godfall. I've got all the scans, I've got all the video, all the audio. I just have to edit that together. Then we're going to get the WWE Fastlane recap and review. It should hopefully be a quicker video than most of my other wrestling videos have been recently, but you never know. So anyway, see you all next time. Oh, next movie, I forgot. Next movie is going to be, it's slated to be Wonder Park, hopefully, so. Also, my watch band broke. Anyway, see you next time then.
Hey,
Hey guys, check out my Patreon and see how you can request a movie for me to review, even if it's some stinker like A Dog's Way Home or the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Also, if you like what you see, give the video a like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell.